Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 2. I am Francis Oyima Edet, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu withdraws Shatti as ministerial nominee, picks Mahmood Kayamo. Nutrition advisor TAF calls on organizations to adhere to maternity rights. Plus, Ukrainian says attacks on Crimean oil storage facility inevitable. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. First in the news is after President Bola Tinubu is a ministerial nominee, Mariam, by President Tinubu and read by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio in the ongoing plenary session. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has called on the people at a meeting with leaders of Okun Development Association led by Michael Ikupulati at the presidential villa. The president assured state. According to a statement by the resident special advisor Ajuri Ngelele, the delegation had expressed their unwavering support for the Tinubu administration and requested the president's backing for Kogiwa Senatorial District to have an opportunity to produce the next governor of the state. They emphasized that this would be the first time the district will have a chance to produce the governor in 27 years since the state's creation in 1991. Away from that, the federal government has directed the chief medical directors and medical directors in the federal tertiary hospitals to implement the no work, no pay policy on the striking members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD. The federal government also directed the hospitals to maintain an attendance register for all resident doctors willing to work. A letter which was signed by the Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Andrew Noah, was written by the Federal Ministry of Health and addressed to the CMDs and MDs of all FTHs in the country. Reacting to the letter, the Secretary General of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Kalechi Chikezie, said the directive was not unexpected, adding that the National Association of Resident Doctors will meet with relevant leaders of the association to take a position on the policy. To the Green Chambers now, where a member of the House of the Auditor General of the Federation with the appointment of a substantive Auditor General for the Federation. Oke, who represents Obokun and Oriade Federal Constituency of Osun State, also accused the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi-Esa, of glossing over the provisions of the Civil Service rules by appointing a junior director to oversee the OAUGF. In a petition to the President, the former Chairman, House Committee on Public Accounts alleged that the head of service of the Federation violated the constitutional provision that no one should hold a public office in an acting capacity for more than 6 months. According to him, the situation in the offices and agencies of the federal government to the National Assembly because the acting Auditor General lacks the power to sign such reports. He also noted that the development has hindered the Public Accounts Committee from performing some of its core duties. In a separate development, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has issued an ultimatum to the federal government to withdraw a lawsuit filed against the organized labor. It said it would commence a nationwide strike on August 14, 2023, should the Federal Ministry of Justice fail to withdraw the lawsuit. The NLC made the decision during its National Executive Council meeting, which was held in Abuja. According to a statement signed by the National President Joe Ajaero, the Ministry of Justice and National Industrial Court have continued to allow themselves to be used as agents of anti-democracy. The center noted that though it agreed to suspend protests based on its meeting with the president, it will embark on a nationwide strike starting from August 14, 2023, should the government fail to withdraw the lawsuits filed against it. In another development, the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has unveiled a platform for authorized economic operators for compliance traders. A statement by the National Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Mawada, noted that the platform is in line with the World Customs Organization protocol. In a statement, the Acting Controller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, disclosed that the platform is for tolerable risks affecting the importation of legitimate goods into Nigeria. Adeniyi re-echoed his commitment to tackling the challenges bedeviling trade facilitation in Nigeria, adding that the platform will strengthen the mutual recognition between the service and stakeholders. Meanwhile, the Police Service Commission (PSC) and the Nigeria Police Force have agreed to set up joint committees to resolve operational differences between the two agencies. This is contained in a statement signed by the Head of Press and Public Relations (PSC), Ikechukwu Ani, in Abuja. He said the agreement was reached when the Inspector General of Police IG Kayode Egbetokun visited the chairman of PSC, Dr. Solomon Arase. The two agencies, Ani said, agreed to set up a recruitment board that would include all the strategic stakeholders in future police recruitment exercises. According to him, the two leaders have also decided to jointly work together to ensure that issues of discipline are handled expeditiously. Back here, a senior nutrition advisor with Center for Clinical Care and Research Nigeria, Sylvia Tav, has called on both private and public organizations to adhere to essential maternity rights of workers to enable pregnant women to take maternity leave for a minimum of 18 weeks. Speaking with Spectrum Television on the 2023 theme for breastfeeding and work on to provide a strategic opportunity to advocate for maternity rights that support breastfeeding, seeks governments to make available policies that will help in supporting maternity rights in workplaces to ensure that women are given basic maternity provisions.
The theme for the World Breastfeeding Week 2023 is Enabling Breastfeeding, celebrated from 1st to 7th of August every year. So that we have policies in place that support and encourage mothers to go on maternity leave at least for 18 weeks, and then to give like 2 hours station room and crèches in workplaces. We're encouraging that policies should be in place to support mothers to breastfeed for 6 weeks, for the period of 6 months with a paid maternity leave. All right, the government needs to be in place because if we have a policy, it will guide organizations to be able to at workplaces where the mothers will be able to breastfeed when required. The theme for
Breastfeeding Week is celebrated annually from August 1st to August 7th with the aim of informing, anchoring, engaging and galvanizing action on breastfeeding and related issues. Move now to Africa, where Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa has inaugurated a Chinese-funded power station that he said would go a long way in easing power shortages ahead of Nigeria's 600-megawatt coal-fired power plant, reassuring voters that the plant said the new plant would be a critical enabler of development adding that Zimbabwe's government has declared a state of emergency following days of clashes in the Mara region between the military. Announcing the state of emergency did not say whether it applied only in Amara or across the country. According to the foreign scene now, where a Ukrainian official, Natalia Hominuk, who is the spokeswoman for the Ukrainian military in the south, said that there is a general knowledge of according to her, it is clear that the Russians will defend the area and its logistics are concentrated to some extent in the areas. She noted that the supply of fuel and lubricant is still on the foreign scene. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in a Washington, D.C. court to conspiring to overturn his 2020 election defeat. Trump, shortly after that court hearing, the arraignment marks the former president's third appearance in 4 months as a criminal defendant. And still to come in the news, Chelsea signs French defender Disasi from Monaco. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now to the rest of the news stories. On a business news, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council (NEP) the smooth growth of non-oil export in the country. Yakusak said this while speaking with export desk officers from 29 financial institutions during a capacity building for bankers and non-oil export commodities at the council headquarters in Abuja. Recall that the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria recently increased the benchmark interest rate to 18 rates and lowered disbursements of credit facilities to finance non-oil export trade, adversely affect the nation's non-oil exports. Still in business, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, has warned Nigeria and other African countries to brace up for higher food prices following recent developments that have temporarily halted Ukraine's food and said this at a virtual press conference. According to her, Russia's decision to withdraw from the Black Sea Grain Initiative had already begun to trigger higher food prices around the world. She noted that the impact of the food price hike would be more felt in developing countries that were import dependent and had conventionally relied on grain imports from Ukraine. To held now, where the federal government, through the Ministry of Health and Federal Capital Territory Administration, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with development partners to reduce the spread of cancer in Abuja. In a statement, it was revealed that the MOU, which occur. According to the statement, cancer is responsible for 79,000 deaths and approximately 124,000 new cases in Nigeria each year, accounting for the second highest cancer burden in Africa. Meanwhile, the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Health, Funsho Adebiyi, said the collective effort would strengthen the ministry's commitment to fostering a healthier. Still in health, medical experts have advised pregnant women to increase their fiber. They noted that fiber is a critical component of a healthy, balanced diet needed during pregnancy and should be taken with appropriate guidance from nutrition specialists. According to fiber intake during pregnancy may hamper the development of the fetus, while appropriate intake would affect the baby's development positively. She added that dietary fiber increases the weight and size of one's stool and softens it. Sassi from Monaco on a 6-year contract. The centre-back, who has made 130 appearances in Ligue 1, has been capped 4 times by France and was part of their squad at last year's World Cup. Meanwhile, the co-sporting ranks that has led to his recognition on the international stage. Still in sports, the Super Falcons have started preparations for their round of 16 fixture against the Monday's 0-0 draw against Republic of Ireland. According to reports, all 23 players took part in the session held at the Lions FC Stadium in Brisbane. The training was supervised by head coach Randy Waldrum. Suspension. On our entertainment news, United States Consul General Will Stevens has applauded the burgeoning ties of the 16th annual Hades Music Award. Stevens explained that the return of the Hades Award to Atlanta symbolizes the Nigerian music industry's dynamism, creativity, and growing global reach. He further highlighted the important role of an inclusive and sustainable creative ecosystem in advancing economic growth and strengthening bilateral people-to-people ties. Offers an opportunity to celebrate African culture, resilience, and creativity. Still on entertainment, American hip-hop star Dej Loaf has dropped a new single, Please Don't Go, on which she features Afrobeat sensation Tenny and Chicky Cheesy. Reports say the collaboration is a testament to how music has the extraordinary ability to bring people together and the fine power of music transcending geographical and cultural boundaries. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure you've been watching Spectrum TV News at 2. I am Francis Oyima. Edit. And thanks for being there, and to enjoy the rest of your day.